Hey, it's Drew from Comics for Fun and Profit with another mini review. This time it's Amazing Spider-Man number 60, the current issue that came out on February 24th. It's called No Exit, and it comes on the heels of the Sin Eater storyline, which to me went on entirely too long. This is a book written by Nick Spencer, who's been writing it for a while, along with Mark Bagley on art. A couple of inkers, John Dell and Andrew Hennessy. Colorist Rachel Rosenberg, a letterer Joe Caramonga, and editors Nick Lowe and Lindsay Cohick. I would guess that two have a little bone to pick. Let me just go off on a little tangent here before we get into No Exit. The Sin Eater storyline that you may have really enjoyed. So if so, then I'm off base. So, but I just thought it went on too long, and I don't think it's the only storyline that just went on too long. I mean, that's why I dropped Batman. These storylines that just went on and on and on, and nobody could write a concise 2 or 3 issue arc, let alone, God forbid, a one and done. I don't blame the writers. Because if I'm a writer, I have an idea. Do I burn that idea in a tightly written 20-page story? Do I expand that idea over 6 issues that can be collected into a trade? And just add a little filler here, a little filler there, and then milk my idea for 6 issues. Of course I do that. I get paid 6 times as much to do so for the same idea. Why wouldn't I do that? But shouldn't the editor step in and say, you know what, there's not a lot of meat here on the bone. How about we just cut this down to a couple of issues, tell your story, tell your idea, your adventure, and then move on, right? I think we, as readers, would enjoy that a little more. If you have a great idea that's going to, I don't know, King and Black it, or whatever's going on over in Venom, for dozens of issues, okay, I guess. I mean, I'm not probably going to be there, but maybe others will, and that's awesome. But if that's the default storytelling for the big two, that it's all going to be these decompressed stories that take forever and don't, and probably could have got there a few issues quicker. Then let's do so. And as editors, I would think that would be where you'd step up. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't blame the writers. Why not? You only have so many ideas. So if you want to milk those suckers for all they're worth, by golly, do that. Unfortunately, you're going to lose me as a reader. I mean, I couldn't keep going with this Sin Eater thing. It just took too long. So anyway, with that being said, back to No Exit, which is coming on the heels of Sin Eater and gives a very quick synopsis of, what happened during the Sin Eater storyline. I got the gist. Okay, I'm fine. But I guess Peter's, dealing with a lot of that stuff that he has built up. So Mary Jane takes him to this theater of hers, takes him on stage so that he can work through in a therapy session, talking out his feelings to get this stuff out so that he deals with whatever he's dealing with, and he can break this cycle of and lift this weight that's on him. So he does this, yada yada yada. It takes a long time for him to get all this out, which is great. And then we kind of get back into some regular Spider-Man storytelling, and we get a cool Doctor Strange cameo where he sees that there's a demon targeting his good friend Peter. We worry about what's next for Peter Parker. Is he going to get more drama? Of course he is, because it's the never-ending battle, right? So for me, this was refreshing to jump back into. At least this thing had a beginning, middle, and end, and didn't seem like just a chapter, right? So I enjoyed this. I'm hopeful for what's next. I don't look too far ahead on some of these. You know, I know I review them in previews and FOCs and sneak peeks, of course. But I don't really kind of like pay that much of attention until FOC, and I'm like, is this something I want to get or not? And so I'm hopeful that, you know, this next story is a little less decompressed, and that's my hope, because there have been some great ones in this run, this Nick Spencer run. So I'm hopeful, and I think this is like the beginning of maybe a good run. I know this was barely a review of this issue, and more of a little soapbox for me. But you know, you takes the good, you takes the bad. So I apologize for that, but I needed to get this off my chest. It must have been bothering me. I needed a stage in order to get this therapeutically get this off my chest, and just like Peter Parker. See, it all came around. It all came around. Perfect. Anyway, so this was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more because it was what it wasn't than what it was, and it wasn't more Sin Eater. So I'm happy to get back on Spidey train. And it's been one of my longest running Spider titles, or longest running Marvel titles that I've read. I've read the most Spider-Man at Marvel. I've read the most consistent Batman at DC. So just because there've always been those two titles, and I've, for the most part, read most of them. So I always want them to be good. And so this was fun. Probably not profitable in any way, shape, or form. So no fun and profit grade this time, but definitely a fun one. If you, like me, have been sitting out a little bit of Spider-Man, or you know, because of what I think is a decompressed storytelling style, then this might be a good one to pop back in, see where it goes. Could be wrong. Maybe next month we just start on another 12-parter or whatever. Fun stuff. Check it out. I hope you've enjoyed these little mini reviews, and we'll continue to do so. Maybe we can talk Kyle into doing a few too. I'd like to hear his thoughts on some things. Hope you like these. We'll continue to do them until everybody hates them. Later.
Aloha, guys. This is Jason from Hawaii. I'm doing my mini review of Stray Dogs #1. Now, it's going to come out this Wednesday, February 24th. It's from Image Comics. It's written by Tony Fleece. Art is by Tricia Forstner, and colors is by Brad Simpson. Now, basically what it is that, as Image Comics has described this 5-part miniseries as, it's Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lamb, Don Bluth style. Now, if you know the animator Don Bluth, he did a lot of work back in the 80s and 90s, like such as All Dogs Go to Heaven is one movie I can think of offhand. Now, I'll be honest with you, I never saw the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven, but I remember seeing the previews for that. And you know, the art style that Tricia Forstner uses in this first issue is very similar to that. You know, it really is. So it kind of really captures the spirit of the, you know, those Don Bluth animation movies. So basically, sorry, let me continue on. So basically what it is, Sophie is the main character. In the first couple pages, you know, Sophie is taken to the veterinarian by her female owner. And then next thing you know, it's like after that, all of a sudden we see Sophie is being carried in to like this dog rescue house by this male, and then you know he puts Sophie in with the other dogs that live there. Now the other thing about this is that it sets it up where it's like the house is very neat and clean, and also to all the dogs are well groomed, you know. So it's like you're kind of going, well, what's going on? What's the you know, what is the you know, what's the problem here? So the first few pages, it lays out everything about, you know, who Sophie is, her situation, and then you get a little bit glimpse of the master's home, and also to the master's home, you can see like you can tell that he's a hunter, because you see like the head of a ram on on his walls, a moose and so forth like that. So you guys get the idea. Sophie is introduced to a whole bunch of other characters, other dogs in the house. The main one to focus on is Rusty. So Rusty is kind of like to me, he's like the leader of the pack. He's the one that kind of shows Sophie around, tells her, hey, the do's and don'ts of the rules of the house, basically. And he welcomes her in. So as the story progresses, basically, Sophie is still scared. She's scared of her new surroundings. She has no idea how she got there, what happened. And then, the human male, the master, they call him the master, gives Sophie this red scarf to like keep her warm and stuff. And then from there, Sophie starts remembering things. And this is where I'm going to stop because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys in this first issue. Like I said, I think it's a well written issue. It started to draw me in because it's kind of like going, everything looks so nice and clean. It kind of gives that nice, comfortable feeling of, those animation that it looks really good. These dogs are cute. What's going to happen next? What could go wrong, basically? The other thing too I liked about this issue is that basically we see all the dogs, but for the humans that are in this issue, like the master, Sophie's female owner, even the receptionist behind the desk area of the veterinarian office, we never see their faces. All we just see is basically from like the chest down, basically. And like I said, that's pretty cool. They're focusing all on the dogs. And again, if you love these Don Bluth animation style, or those early Disney movies like Lady in the Trap, the art style will really grab you in, and also to the characters too, so it's pretty interesting. So if you guys get a chance, pick up Stray Dogs #1. It's a 5-part miniseries, so I'm glad it's a short one. So it's one of those where they'll tell the full complete story, within these 5 issues. So, like I said, if you guys get a chance, pick up Stray Dogs #1. My ratings for this, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say it's gonna be, fun and profit. Fun meaning that basically it's a great read. It's already hooked me in. I want to pick up issue #2 already. Also, too, I think it's gonna be a profit because I wouldn't doubt it to see if, like, some other animation studio would try to pick this up and try to I could see this as as like an animated movie, for much like PG-13 and up type of deal. So so I would say it's this comic issue #1, Stray Dogs #1 is for comics, is for fun and profit. Aloha guys, this is Jason from Hawaii. This is my review of Scout's Honor #2. Now, it's a 5-issue miniseries from Aftershock Comics. It's written by David Pepos, art, and I'm going to try to pronounce the artist's name as best I can, Luca Casalanguida, and colors by Matt Mila. Now, basically, overall, Scout's Honor, in a nutshell, is it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, and one part of society, has been rebuilt by a Ranger Scout manual that was found, after a nuclear war. 200 years later, basically, the Ranger Scouts are basically a male dominant group that protects their town and so forth. And again, only males can join the Ranger Scouts. Our main character, Kit, is a young woman who's hiding her identity. She is a Ranger Scout. She's hiding her identity from the rest of her group. So I'm not going to try to give too much spoilers from issue #1 while I talk about issue #2. But basically, issue 1 basically ended where Kit did some reconnaissance mission to see where the highwaymen are basically, are the villains of the story that basically attack caravans in the wasteland, and basically, gets food and, steals food and water from these caravans and cause havocs and so forth. So basically, issue number 2 picks up where basically Kit is returning, back to her town, and she sees how, and she saw the video of how the Ranger Scouts came to be, and it basically it shook her up, or it shook her faith in the Ranger Scouts and how it all started. So from this point on, basically, you know, Kit is, luckily found by her father, and we get to learn her dad's name. Her dad's name is Glenn. And basically, so, we also find out that Glenn is, I guess, some sort of engineer or mechanic, because Kit brought back back one of the drones that had this crucial information of how the Ranger Scouts got started. So she asked her dad to basically try to see if he could, get this information out of the drone. So along the way, basically, issue 2 to me, it continues the story, of Kit in the Ranger Scouts and in the society, and also too, I like this because it does a little bit more world building, of this post-apocalyptic setting, that's ruled by a Ranger Scout manual. The other thing too I like about it too is that it also started to introduce the Eagle Guard. They're the next level above the Ranger Scouts, and also too we also show that I guess there's something called, quote unquote, the providing grounds, and it shows them go through this brutal training of what the Eagle Guards have to do. And the training site, there's a little glimpse of it. It kind of reminds me of it looks like those World War II POW camps where it's just barbed wire fences, and it's just like wooden barricades and stuff, wooden sheds and guard towers and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Also too, this is the first time we get to see the eagle's nest. Basically it's this, and it sounds like what it's this huge tower with an eagle head on top, and the eyes are both windows looking over the city. And this is where where the Scoutmaster Shepherd can look down upon the city. So again, like I said, issue number 2 to me would start to do a little bit more world building, and it also pushes a little bit more of the mystery of what's going on, and so forth. Of will the secret that Kit has learned, would it be revealed to the other Ranger Scouts? And does anyone else know about this secret? And what are they trying to do to protect this secret? So it's very interesting. So again, I like it. It pushes, like I said, I like this issue. I see a little bit more of the world. Also, too, it's like, again, the mystery is a little bit more deepening. Then it's kind of like going, who else knows about this, how the Ranger Scouts came about. So my rating for this is basically, it's for fun. So if you guys get a chance, pick up Scouts Honor number 2. And again, guys, just enjoy what you read and love the comics that you read. Until next time, guys, aloha.